Hello, comrades. Welcome back to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. My name, of course, is Obita Potato. Right. So, there is one resource that I wish to focus primarily on for this episode, or at least for the beginning of this episode, and that resource is fuel. Now, our current fuel setup is pretty. I don't want to say it's basic because it's not basic, but it's not very streamlined, I would say. So at the moment, we've got 2 oil/fuel storage tanks in Bridgegrad. Basically, a whole bunch of oil is delivered from the oil refinery direct into this tank right over here. It is then pumped over through this pumping station and out into the oil/fuel storage number 2, which stores the vast majority of the fuel. And then that fuel is pumped around the entirety of the map to a bunch of gas stations, through trucks, or through a bunch of trucks to oil, fuel, diesel loading stations for trains. Or indeed to fill up a boat, actually, over at Dokski. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that there is a whole bunch of fuel that is currently being distributed by individual trucks across the entirety of Potatograd, Kolgradsky, the entire flippin' map, as far as I'm concerned. I want to streamline that process today, and the way that we're going to do it is with the brand new distribution tools. In fact, I think when we actually started distributing fuel to a bunch of gas stations around the map, there wasn't even the option for a distribution office to distribute fuel. So it's good that we've got the opportunity to rectify that oversight and bring our fuel distribution network into the 21st century. Right, that's right. Okay, so what I want to do straight off the bat is try and get a couple of distribution offices. Actually, I think I probably want to get about, well, maybe 3, but at least 2. Why am I not allowed to build here? For some obscure reason. Let's give it a little flatten. There we go. And we're going to build the medium distribution offices, the biggest that are available to us. What have we got going on here? We got a flat fire in Potatograd. I'm sure that will be fixed. Look at this. Be very careful, fire engines, that you don't run over any pedestrians on your way to put out the fire, because that would be bad. Certainly bad. Anyway, let's go back to Bridgegrad. To be honest, I never really imagined that Bridgegrad would have as much utility as it actually has had. It's been quite a nifty little area. Right, I'm gonna rush build 2 of the distribution offices, mostly because I want to demonstrate the proof of concept. But this last third one, this can be built. Yeah, it's not a problem. I think that we've got all of the resources here locally needed in order to build this. I think. No, we don't have any. Oh no, we do have. Yeah, okay, I think we probably have everything then. Yeah, I think we probably have absolutely everything needed in order to transport the resources out here, with the exception, of course, of people, which is always a difficulty building in faraway lands. But you know, we can perhaps think about dealing with that later. Anyway, so that's that. Now, what I want to do is I want to purchase some vehicles, and I'm very keen to purchase the biggest and the best oil tanker. However, I think actually I can just manufacture this. I mean, I've already got the blueprints, and we've got a very top quality, best in the game workforce that are capable of building trucks. I mean, how many trucks? We got 4. We're about to have 4 dumpers here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, well, what we're gonna do is we can wait until this dumper is actually finished, and then we can swap it on over to the oil tank production. In fact, do we even have the oil tank blueprint? We don't. 35,000 rubles. Brilliant. And again, I think that is a slightly lower cost because I already own the KMZ 510 basic blueprint. So, also, just want to check, where are you trucks coming from? You are going to the mini constructor warehouse. Huh, okay. I mean, hold up a second. Why have you got plastics? Oh, you've got... Oh, okay. I see what the issue is here. So, we're not able to transport mechanical components to the mini constructor warehouse because this truck is filled with junk, quite frankly. Yeah. This is something that I touched on briefly. Don't need chemicals. We absolutely don't need fabric. We don't need alcohol. We don't need food. We don't need clothes. We'll keep electronic components around here just in case. We don't need plastics. We don't need electronics. Right. So go do that. Yeah, increase the number of electronics so that we're able to unload some electronics. Okay, it's not gonna fix the problem entirely, but at least it should help out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of those lorries that are just floating around that kind of, you know, the whole purpose of them hasn't really been maintained throughout the ages, or alternatively, I took a shortcut at the very start when setting up the route to deliver mechanical components to Mini Constructo. Anyway, that's by the by. It doesn't flippin' matter. What I want to do is I want to select the KMZ 510 cistern truck. There we go, and we will immediately start producing that. So that is very, very good indeed. Right. Also, I have a secret idea. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. It's a brilliantly novel idea, and I think it is going to sincerely help out the amount of workers who are just absolutely desperate for a job here. I think we might be able to figure it out. Right. So what I want to do, what I really want to do, is I actually want to build. I want to build a small bus platform. Now, roll with me on this here for a second, because this was only made aware to me like yesterday, and it was actually on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/OpenPotato. Little bit of self-promotion there. We play Workers and Resources Soviet Republic a heck of a lot. I stream pretty much most days, most weekdays. Come along if you're interested. Right, so rush build this bus platform here, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to set this medium train station as the location that workers should go. So 100% of the workers that are arriving at the Potatograd bus platform 2 are going to be transferred immediately, or they're going to want to work at the train station. Now, of course, you can't actually work at the train station, and therefore they should appear on the platform. Will this work? Will it? Won't it? Who knows? Who knows? This is going to be a fantastic experiment. Let's give it a shot. Okay, we're going to start with 3 vehicles. There we go. We're only going to pick up workers. There we go. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, we're going to copy the schedule to the other buses in yonder, and we shall go. This is all, by the way, in a pursuit to get more people up to the vehicle factory in order to produce more trucks more quickly, in order to fill up our distribution offices more quickly. Comprende? Comprende. Great. What about all of those trucks that are currently situated in gas stations all around the map? Ignore those. They're not part of my narrative. Just don't even bother. Don't even bother considering those trucks. The more trucks the merrier as far as I'm concerned. I mean, who in their right mind would disagree with that sentiment? No one. That's right. Our propaganda messages are seemingly getting through. Everyone seems to be getting a sufficient amount of propaganda. Yeah, it's not too bad, not too bad. We're almost done with the television station. We just need, you know, a butt-ton more steel. That is a technical measurement. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong. And the steel is, yeah, the steel's coming along nicely. The whole setup that we went through over the course of the last episode in order to increase our aggregate storage actually turns out worked wonders. Worked absolutely wonders, and I'm very, very happy with it, actually. Yeah, very, very happy with that indeed. Okay, right, so are we moving workers over to this here bus platform small? Also, yeah, workers should not be able to get in here from any other way. So the only way that they're able to access this bus platform small is via bus. So we got 135 workers, and we've got 130 workers on the station at the moment. So as we can see, all of the workers are going to be dispatched to the train platform. And there we go, just like that. Perfect. We should see a massive increase in the number of workers that are actually waiting around on the train platform. Now, that's good and bad. I mean, we don't want 600 people on this flipping platform. Maybe even 700. Yeah, well, almost to 700 before a train arrives. I mean, look, that says to me we need to start shipping these workers out of here much more regularly, much more consistently. you know, whatever the case, we need to start doing it. The point that I'm trying to make is that now we have a way to capitalize on our extra workers. Also, the extra workers that we do have over here are also still being moved across to the trolley bus stop over here, and therefore they are being used in the production of electronics and whatnot. Why are we not able to get plastics? Do we not have plastics in storage? We don't actually have plastics in storage. Are the plastics being stored over here? No, the plastics are not being stored over here. Presumably, we're just waiting for some plastic to be delivered. Chemgrad Road Cargo Station. Where the heck are you guys? Ah, you're still en route. That's fine. Again, this is kind of the fantastic thing about getting the boat set up. What the heck is wrong with you? You're lost? How could you be lost? There you go. Yeah, so the great thing about getting the boat set up is that we're going to be able to run regular deliveries right across to the other side of the map over here. And, you know, of course, on the way from Shipsky, I can't even see what the heck is happening, but from Shipsky over to Kobe, we can drop off things like gravel and steel and prefab panels and all the sort of complex stuff that is produced in Petrograd. But on the way back, we can take the... What the heck? The greenhouse is done? I didn't notice that. You know, on the way back, we can take the even more complex to process things. We can take chemicals. We can take plastics back. We can take bitumen back, if indeed that is something that is required. Either way, pretty darn happy with that. Right, so we've got a greenhouse up and running, which is astounding, to be honest. We need to get that all sorted as well. The whole point of getting a greenhouse, by the way, if you want a quick little recap, is to produce crops, because we need to feed crops into our huge chemical plants in order to produce chemicals. And actually, it's good timing, because we're actually drawing down on a huge number of our crops that are in the grain storage at this moment in time. So it was always the intention to have the crops produced locally. Now, am I able to factory connect? I am technically able to factory connect. There is a very, very sneaky factory connection up at the front of this building over there. However, I don't really think that I want to chain together a massive factory connection. I think I would probably much rather just have a just have a truck actually that does the delivery of crops from here to here. Yeah, I think we're going to set that up. Also, in order to make the greenhouse actually work, we need chemicals and we need coal. Now, that is in itself a little bit of a problem. What we can do, however, to mitigate the coal issue is, yeah, we can do this. We can stick in a small aggregate storage right over here. The small aggregate storage will be responsible for moving resources directly into the greenhouse. So let me see if I can just tidy up this area a little bit. Okay. And all of this, by the way, I still maintain is in pursuit of fuel being delivered everywhere. That's what I'm all about. That's what this episode is about. But you know, as it just so happens, these episodes often take they take a detour. And don't you flippin' love it when that happens? Because I do. I love it when detours happen. I think it's nice. I think it works well. Okay, so that goes down right over there. Perfect. Now, am I able to get a... I mean, you say that. That's actually pretty darn... That's actually pretty darn close to what I wanted. I didn't think that was going to be possible, but I'm delighted that it is. So there we go. I am going to build gravel roads. Yes, I know everyone always tells me that the people of the great town of Kobe deserve better. I don't disagree with you. Today is the day where I build some gravel roads and some gravel paths. Not all, though, mind you. Not all. Right. Now, where's the... Ah, it's here. Yeah. Okay. So get that down. Brilliant. Get this down to... What am I looking for? I'm looking for that road button. Get that down. Let's build that, and let's build this. I'm still suitably fine for money, which is nice and handy. Now, here's where we're gonna have a little bit of a problem. So, we need to store We need to store coal, not coal ore, processed coal. We need to store processed coal in here in order to supply the greenhouse. The nearest place of coal processing is legitimately Kolgradsky. So the journey that we're going to have to take in order to supply this greenhouse with coal is immense. It is absolutely immense. Like, it is tremendous, actually. Like, it is absolutely tremendous. However, I think we're going to do it. What I think we're going to do is we're actually going to... Yeah, also, there is going to be a coal processing area properly set up. It's still building, I believe. Although most of the traffic is stuck behind. Okay, we'll deal with that later. Ignore that for now. Yes, so what we're gonna do here is, I think we're gonna actually capitalize on this massively free space that we've got just chilling over here, and we're gonna use this to expand our distribution network. That's right. We're gonna supply a flippin' greenhouse at the other side of the map, literally via distribution office. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal. Okay, let's just get this built, actually, because I want to actually set this up right now. Okay, so this is where we're storing coal ore. I need coal. We store coal over here. Man, this is messy. This is spaghetti conveyor town. This is really, really, really flippin' messy. Although, in saying that, there is an opportunity. These road crossings are absolutely phenomenal. It says that you're transporting gravel and coal. If you're transporting gravel, my dude, we have a problem there. We have a problem if you're transporting gravel. I gotta be honest. However, I'm gonna choose to ignore that. Choose to think that that's a bug. Now, what I would like to do is I would actually like to get a truck aggregate loading and see if we can fit it in somewhere over here. Now, this actually seems pretty convenient. Yeah, okay, so if I flatten this out a little bit, there we go, looking very, very good. Then we can set up a... Yes, now we're talking. Brilliant. Okay, so get that set up as well. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So now we can actually have a truck aggregate loading, which is going to help. I tell you what, we've got a couple of dumpers. We got a couple of brilliant homemade dumpers that are ready to go straight to work. Only 4 for now, but I'm sure that will increase over time. So we're going to send them all to work at the distribution office. So that's what is that? A third of the trucks? Yeah, that's not too bad. A third of the trucks. We're going to increase this to 90%. And the sole mission of this distribution office is going to be to take coal from the Petrograd truck aggregate loading, which is going to load up with nicely processed coal. Then you're going to head all the way across to this aggregate storage over here. And you're going to unload everything. Which I can't do, apparently. That's a bit of a bummer. Why is that not the case? Am I not allowed to unload trucks of coal? Do I need to unload into an aggregate unloading? I kind of just assumed that wouldn't be the case. Which is why I went to build the thing here. Otherwise, I would have built it somewhere else where I would have the space to build an aggregate unloading. Alright, let me see. Alright, so load coal. Literally just coal. See if I specify. Also, how am I still doing so well financially? Yeah, you're not happy with this. What's the reason for not being able to... Is it the fact that there is no road connection? Is that the fact? So, it turns out that if there is no road connection, I'm just not allowed to set a distribution network up. I guess that's fine. We can get a road connection. We can get a road connection fairly easily. Right, there we go. Tighten this up a little bit. It's not going to be pretty. It's a temporary connection. There we go. 37,000 rubles. Nicely done. Also, we do, in fact, need a connection for the road cargo station over here. Also, it'll be kind of nice to have all of this stuff supplied from this specific road. Yeah, I think that's pretty darn important, actually. Okay, let's go back to the medium distribution office. Can we unload? Yes, we can indeed. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to unload coal right over there. So, we should actually see these trucks start to mobilize. Brilliant. We actually do. That is absolutely wonderful. That is great. I'm very happy with that. That's exactly what I intended. It's a little bit of a trek for them. I mean, these guys are probably going to have to fill up, like, what, 5 times? Maybe not quite 5 times, but they're going to have to fill up with fuel a fairly significant number of times in order to get all the way to Kobe. I mean, that's just about the longest journey that we could theoretically do. Literally, theoretically do on this map. So they're going from basically the center of, you know, the industrial site on Potato Red up here, around here, all the way down. Maybe, I guess, if they were to go from Kolgradsky down to Kobe, it would be slightly longer, but only just. I mean, yeah, this is definitely one of the longest journeys that we can really do. Okay, either way, that's really, really good. We're getting some more crops delivered from Grainsky, which, if you'll recall, is where we are supplying our temporary crops from. I suspect, by the way, that as we continue to increase the number of workers that work in our chemical plants, we're going to need more crops from Grainsky. We're going to need to start transporting more of those crops that we're overproducing in Grainsky. You know, a single greenhouse will not be enough. Will not be enough to supply this. I mean, consumption at maximum production, 12 tons of crops. We only produce 13 tons of crops in this greenhouse. So the greenhouse is going to be a really good sort of stopgap measure, but it's not forever, that's for sure. It's not forever. Speaking of stopgap measures, are we able to reach the train station? We're not able to reach the train station. That's a little bit funny and somewhat surprising. I suspect that if I upgrade this road to asphalt, gravel, whatever, we'll be able to do it. So I'm not super worried about that for now, because of course we still need all of the resources to be moved over there. Anyway, that's fine. What I would also like to do is we have a... Do we have a distribution office over here? I thought we had a distribution office over here. We got a construction office. Turns out we do not have a distribution office. So, okay, wow, all of the food deliveries are still being done manually in Kobe. All right, I mean, that kind of shocked me a little bit, but that's okay. Right, well, I guess we're gonna have to get a distribution office over in Kobe. We also need to fill out some of these flats. We are close, but not quite there. But we'll get there. Don't worry. Okay, so distribution office that I talked about. We need to get the distribution office down somewhere over here. This distribution office can do food. There we go. Where does this gravel road go? Ah, yes, this is my brand new gravel road to the harbor, which is kind of nice, actually. It seems to be coming along quite nicely. The open storage is done. Industrial connection is done. The cargo harbor looks like it's about to be started as soon as that road is all built. So that's good. I'm just going to buy some trucks over here. What do I need? I need some covered hull trucks. In fact, I think it's entirely covered hull trucks that I need. So, I would like to take some... resources from here. I would like to load up with chemicals, and I would like to unload the chemicals. Can't unload with chemicals because we do not have a road connection. Which is pretty irritating. And that doesn't want to connect either now. So that's good. Oh, joy. Okay, take that back. There we go. Okay, so now we should be able to add the greenhouse. There we go. And I want you to unload chemicals. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now, I'm not going to be able to get you to load chemicals, though, am I? Not load chemicals. Load crops. No, unfortunately, you can only deal with one either output or import or export function from one specific building. So we're gonna have to get a small distribution office next. I tell you what, we should probably just get a medium distribution office over here, and then just like fill it with trucks, fill it with just a singular truck or 2 trucks. So anyway, the whole reason that I'm getting a second distribution office is this distribution office is going to deal with the delivery of the crops back into the system. So I need literally just 2 of you. Pop that up to 90%. You're going to go from here. I want you to load. There we go. And then I want you to go back to here and unload. There we go. So that's it. Crops. Crops. Can't tick crops. Alright. Fine. Either way, that's that sorted. So that's really, really good. So that should now all work. We're going to transport chemicals around the place, which is great. Can I quickly just take a little look? Grainsky Food Factory to Kobe Warehouse. Grainsky Food Factory to Kobe Warehouse. Wait, so what are the trucks? What are the trucks? Do we have any trucks that are currently doing deliveries to shops? I think we do. Ah, it's right. Okay, it's fine. It's just that you're... I see what the situation is. Okay, well, you can go and work for... Okay, here's what we're going to do. You go work for you, and then you go work for you, because you've already got food on you and clothes on you. And then I'm going to set this up. Was this a loading station? I think this is the loading station. Yeah, so this is the loading station. Load resources from here, and then unload resources to there, and there, and there. And also, is there a pub around anywhere? Have I not graced the people of Kobe with a pub? There is one pub. Only one pub? That's shocking. That's very surprising. Either way, we now have our food distribution in Kobe controlled completely by a distribution hub, which I think is the best thing to do. Yeah, we don't have any... Grainsky Food Factory. How are we doing over at Grainsky Food Factory, actually? I haven't checked up on it in a while. It's a fair trek, I tell you what, to get from Grainsky Food Factory all the way over to Kobe. We're actually doing not too badly. We're producing a tremendous amount of food. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Just wanted to check up on that, make sure that it was all fine. Okay, coal is now in transit, which is great. Very, very good indeed. Very, very happy with that. We are producing, probably, yeah, we're producing a really, really good number of trucks, which is great. Certainly helping. Ideally, I'd like to try and get some more... some more vehicles. How are there only 6 vehicles? How are six workers on that? 29 workers on there. How? Wowzers. 400 and something workers. Well, to me, that's frankly shocking. How are we only transporting like 6 workers at a time up to the steel mill and the vehicle factory? Yeah, that is shocking. That is truly shocking. Also, how are we doing construction of the tunnel? 63%. My, oh my, oh my. I tell you what, when we actually do this, maybe I will legitimately pop open a bottle of champagne. That is remarkable. If we're actually able to ever get that done. Okay, it looks like we're a little bit congested over on the route up to the steel mill. I mean, we shouldn't really be, to be honest, though. We should be mostly fine. Yeah, let me stick down... Yeah, is there any other signal that I need to faff around with? Not really. I think for the most part we're totally fine. Yeah, part of the problem is that we can only have one train in this section of track up here. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all. Although we could delete these tracks, but I don't want to delete these tracks because these tracks are super, super, super important. I say super important. They're not important. They were just painful to build. Yeah, we could also consolidate these trains perhaps into slightly longer trains, i.e. pair 2 of them up and create one monster train. Also, I think there is a missing signal right here. I think. Will that make much of a difference? Will that make much of an impact? I don't know. Tell you what we could also do. Could also stick an additional signal on this bridge up here. There we go. Alright. Whether this works, whether it doesn't particularly matter to me. Actually, that's not true. It matters it matters a lot to me. I just don't want to dedicate too much mental power to thinking about signals. There we go. That looks like it's flowing a little bit faster. That's kind of what I'm after. Okay. That was a little bit of a rhyming couplet there. Yeah, it's not often that you get that level of service from me. What the heck are you goons doing here? Somebody's messed up. That's right. Okay. And now you go through there. I think that actually fixes the problem entirely. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it stops trains from getting stuck on this irritating little one-way road there. Oh, a little one-way rail. That's fine. The heck are you doing? Alright. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, brilliant, 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 brilliant. So that's everything that's going fairly well. Oh, yes, 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 yes. 8 fuel trucks. 8 fuel trucks. I think we need, what, 12 times 2? 24? 24 fuel trucks. Very, very good. Also, I haven't forgotten about Mini Constructo. I haven't forgotten about Kolgradsky. I'm just letting stuff happen there. I'm letting stuff happen. Right, chemicals, good. Plastics. We're missing chemicals. Why are we missing chemicals over here? Tell you what, that would be another perfect place to drop chemicals off at. There we go. Set you off to unload chemicals. Brilliant. What's the issue here? Why is there an issue? Ah, yes. We've got loads of trucks that are loading up. And what the heck is happening here? Buildings without power supply. Wait, we don't have a power supply to the forklift garage? Oh, snap. It's the cable that I destroyed at the start of the episode. I wonder how often this happens. Probably surprisingly often, where I take down a cable and then just forget about it. Blame the game for something, and then realize it was my fault entirely. There we go. Okay, rectified easily. There we go. Literally, the entire problem is that we weren't able to fill up the forklifts with fuel. That was pretty much it, to be honest. That was pretty much it. Okay, so now that is our supply of chemicals sorted, our supply of crops sorted. Yeah. All right. Good. We're back. We're back. Brilliant. There was a fire. It was at unload in the warehouse area. Cool. Well, not very cool, but, you know, interesting enough. All right. That's good. We got a lot of workers coming through here. Wowzers, we got a lot of workers coming through here. 89 work. We don't have enough? Okay, wowzers. We actually have too many workers. We actually have too many workers. So there are workers being taken back on the train. So I'm going to increase the amount of people that can work in the chemical plants by about 100 each. So therefore, we are going to tremendously increase the amount of chemicals that we produce. However, there is a slight issue in the fact that we don't actually have that much oil coming through. Because we're now able to refine oil at such a pace, the pipeline really isn't moving enough oil. And it's not the pipeline's fault, actually. It's the fact that Oilnovsky isn't actually producing enough oil, which was the whole point of building this area in the first place. And we are almost to the bridge. What have we got going on? It's a woodcutting post. Fine. We're almost to Oil Island, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. We got a construction office there ready to rock and roll as soon as that is all sorted. But that's happening in the background, nice and chill. What has happened with you? How the mighty have fallen. This is ridiculous. Right. Sell that vehicle. Sell that vehicle as well. I don't believe it. Okay. That was a disaster waiting to happen. What are we waiting for over here, though? What are we waiting for? Is it just work days? Workers? People? Peeps? Right. Let me see if we can do that. Whoa! Fire destroyed a building? Oh, it wasn't the woodcutting post that we actually cared about. It was like the woodcutting post that I built at the very start of the episode in order to demonstrate factory connections. Okay, I mean, my brazen disregard for buildings really needs to be toned down a little bit, to be honest. But I mean, you already knew that, didn't you, comrade? You did. I thought you did. It's because it's been happening for quite a while now. Also, how are we doing production of the boats? Mechanical components. We're out of mechanical components. How are we actually out of mechanical components? You're transporting nuclear waste. Fine. How are we not managing to... How do we not have mechanical components coming in here? We've got 13 tons of flipping mechanical components over here. Who's going to Docksky Warehouse? Load. I've set up mechanical components. Wait, what? Are we... Oh, I see. I see what's happening. So vehicles start distributing cargo when in storage is less than X%. It's not distributing to here because the storage of mechanical components isn't less than X%. Right. Okay. Destroy clothes, destroy food, chemicals. Right. So if I individually allocate these resources here, will that make any difference? We do not need any more fabric, that's for sure. Right. Let me see if this makes a shred of difference. Where are you going? You're going to load mechanical components and you're going to unload them at Docksky Warehouse. That's exactly what I wanted to see happen. Okay, so that's a little quirk, actually. That is a little quirk. So, deliveries will not happen to the storehouse unless you... or to the warehouse unless you limit the amount... And then it treats every individual resource as percentage out of 100, I presume. So we should see this mechanical component number filled up to 40% of 116 tons, which is what, just over 50 tons, something like that. That's kind of the hope. All right, that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know what? We all learned a lesson there, didn't we? And that's kind of the main thing, isn't it? No, just kidding. I want a boat. That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah, and now we're straight up out of oil. Can you actually imagine that? We are out of oil. We are out of oil. What a ridiculous situation to be in, eh? What a truly ridiculous situation to be in. Okay, in order to celebrate the fact that I'm out of oil, I'm going to expand. I'll just auto-build this. Always get into dangerous territory whenever I say auto-build anything. But we're going to do it nonetheless. There we go. Okay, so now I fully expect that we will be able to walk people right across from the station to the greenhouse. There we go. It's only 320 meters or something. Hardly any distance at all. All right, brilliant. So when the new train arrives, we should have no difficulty, not necessarily filling. Ooh, our first coal has arrived. Brilliant. It's only 2.6 tons of coal per day, so having a small aggregate storage here is probably more than enough to keep things going for at least a little while. And we should indeed have our chemical deliveries coming in as well at some point, I believe. Loading plastic. Loading plastic. Yeah, where's my truck that does chemical deliveries? It should be to here. Do I need to do anything more? I don't think I need to do anything more. I think that should just be it. 4 tons of plastic. There is a route. There is definitely a connection. And yet, we still do not have... We still do not have chemicals. Also, there's no power. That's another bit of a bummer. Does this seriously not supply? Very interesting that this doesn't supply the greenhouse over here. Okay, well, we can build a substation to slightly amend this irregularity. There we go. Angle of connection is too sharp. Okay, that's a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest, but whatever. We rebuild it. That's great. Okay. Now we've got power. Now can we get chemicals, please? Building is without power supply over here. Do we need a power supply in order for the distribution office to sort of see, in inverted commas, what is available? I didn't think that that was necessarily the case, although I can see if that works. Right, so we'll build a substation over there, and we'll just connect this up over here. Right, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Alrighty. Okay, does that work? No, you've now got power and you're still complaining. I feel like part of the problem might be is that we don't have like an intermediate storage area. Like, it seems like the medium distribution office is just unable to draw chemicals from the road cargo station for some really obscure reason. So what I think I might do to try and fix that is if I stick in a... Yeah, literally right there. I tell you what, I'm learning so much about the game's mechanics over the course of this episode. Really, really weird. Really, really weird. Usually I don't learn anything. As in, usually I'm just a pretty stubborn individual, and it takes me a heck of a long time to learn anything. But on this occasion, learning just seems to be what I've been doing. It's great. Okay, limit amount. 0, 0, 0. There's a fire. I need to check where that fire is. Right. Okay, so now we're going to store excess chemicals. We're going to store excess chemicals in this warehouse. There we go. Auto-find connections. Good. And you... Chemgrad warehouse. Don't... Just chemicals. Just chemicals. We don't want crops. We don't want anything. We just want chemicals. So... Oh my god. This is the fire? Really? Really? There's a fire here? What sort of sick joke is this? What an unbelievable turn of events. I don't believe it. There's a fire right in front of my nose and I didn't even notice it. Goodness gracious me. Okay. Well, so now we're able to store chemicals in the warehouse until a truck is able to pick them up. So does that mean that now you're able to load chemicals up from this road cargo station? I don't think so. I think the distribution office is only going to be able to pick them up from the warehouse, I suspect. Okay, well, you know what? That's not necessarily a problem. We'll just say load chemicals from the warehouse. Does that change things? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so instantly a truck is dispatched. So it looks like if you've got a complex industry network set up behind a specific road cargo station, it looks like the distribution offices cannot tell what resources are going to be available in that road cargo station. That's just pure speculation, but there you go. Just keep that in mind if you're playing by yourselves. Okay, cool. I think we're ready. I think we're absolutely ready to start producing crops in Chemgrad, which is kind of tremendous, actually. Didn't really anticipate that it would happen over the course of this episode. I did say that I wanted to focus on fuel. I believed it. I thought it was going to be the case. And yet, here we are. Either way, not bad. Very, very good. Also, we're making an absolute killing. We're doing real good. We're doing real good financially, which is really, really nice. It seems like we've rectified... Yep, rectified workers being returned on trains to Kobe. So thankfully, that's looking pretty darn good. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I'm really, really quite satisfied with how this has turned out. I'm just going to wait for this truck bringing chemicals to the greenhouse to arrive in the greenhouse. And once it does, we can all watch as our first crops are produced locally. There you go, just like that. Wowzers. Brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. Not entirely sure if we need this many people working at the greenhouse. Would probably prioritize chemicals if I had the opportunity to, although to be fair, I'm not super oil rich at the moment, and therefore I'm not able to produce that many chemicals. What have we got? There's a fire at one of the construction offices. I fully anticipate that that will be rectified very, very shortly indeed. I mean, there is a fire station right next door, yeah, like literally right over here. Okay, that's cool. So we are now moving coal across the map. That's brilliant. Look at this. We're accumulating more and more trucks. We got 13. What did I say we needed? 24. It's not far off. We are making our ship, which is very, very good. Man, I cannot flippin' believe that we actually learned about some proper game mechanics over the course of this episode. And truly, it's tremendous. All right. So now, here we go. So this is going to be our first. Maybe our first, maybe not our first. Maybe not necessarily our first. Yeah, you're our first. You're our first truck that is going to transport crops back from the greenhouse right back into the chemical production area. By the way, I don't know why I enjoy this so much. I just love the idea of, like, our crops being produced in greenhouses. I think that that's very, very cool. It also consumes, like, so few chemicals that it's kind of cool. And coal, I think, is very cool. I presume that that's for fertilizer, right? I presume that it's coal and chemicals that are combined in order to make some form of, I don't know, fertilizer? I have no idea. Either way, I'm delighted that it actually has ended up working. Yeah, that's looking really good. Looking and feeling really, really good. And we also managed to sort out the food distribution network at the same time. So theoretically, that should be fine. Yeah, so you work at the distribution office. You don't have electronic components, though, so yeah, alright. Well, I think we're doing some of the food supply. Presumably because the food deliveries just came in, and I don't know why the trucks hadn't already delivered to the grocery stores. Either way, that's not necessarily, like, a super pressing priority. I have talked about how food is, like, my largest import expense. I'm aware of that. It's probably going to remain that way for quite a while. Alright, what do we got? Little progress on the bridge. Now, I have a suspicion as to why this is the case. This bus station is totally equipped, totally ready. It's, it's working on the road in question. However, I suspect that there are no workers at the source. Source of workers is empty. And I suspect that the reason why there are no workers at the source is because we've now reached such a high percentage of uneducated workers that we legitimately, 138, that we legitimately cannot run the town. We can't run the town with this many uneducated workers. Yeah. I mean, this is fine. I mean, people's health. Yeah, look at this. We can't even teach. We cannot even teach. Okay, so this, like, very, very much needs rectifying. I don't think that's for this episode. I put it off last episode. I'm gonna put it off this episode as well. What we basically need to do, maybe I can do it between episodes, actually. Let me know if you'd like to see it on camera or off camera. It doesn't particularly matter to me. But we're basically just gonna have to move everyone from Mini Constructo over to Potatograd. Either that or to Kobe, or actually to anywhere that there's a university, so that everyone in Mini Constructo can be educated, and we can just fill Mini Constructo up with people that are already educated. So that's important, actually, that we do that. Right, you know what? I think it's finally time that we turn our attention to fuel distribution. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Okay, so we've got, what is it, 15 trucks. So let's get these trucks moved over here. There we go. Right, so the reason that the reason that I've decided to get 2 distribution offices as opposed to way more or way less, maybe just 1. Maybe we could pull this off with 1. I very much doubt it, though. Because there is a significant amount of fuel that needs transporting. So in my mind, I envision one of these distribution offices dealing solely with all of the transport around Petrograd. And I think we're going to have a very specific setup. We're going to have a very, very, very specific setup for distribution offices. Also, we need to increase the amount of fuel that we are moving. We need to increase the amount of fuel that we are moving from the refinery over to Bridgegrad. I mean, I'm really happy with Bridgegrad as like a sort of central hub for all activity. A fire's been extinguished. One of these days is going to be a nuclear fire, and it's going to absolutely terrify me. But there we go. Okay, so, right, we have now got Bridgegrad Medium Distribution Office, which is packed with absolutely everything. We're going to pop this up to as high as we can possibly make it. So 90%. 90%, which is quite high. 90% of fuel should be in every fuel station. That's the aim. Okay, so we're going to load up at Bridgegrad Oil and Fuel Storage 2. Bear in mind, there's only 12 trucks. There's only 12 trucks that can possibly be in the distribution office at any one time. What is this? Train platform. Yeah, there's a fire station right across the road. Brilliant. Right. That's a close one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Brilliant. I'm just going to get you to turn around and drop off your workers whilst you're up here. There you go. A little bit of micromanaging. Brilliant. Okay, so now what we need to do. Is we need to find every single... Some vehicles are without fuel. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We need to find every single fuel station that we want to deliver to. The good news is that it is actually not going to be super difficult to find them, because most of them have got 2 trucks standing outside them, which is kind of cool. So right there. Also, we need to find forklift stations as well, which is another mini pain. Shipski. We're going to have to take a pretty adaptive approach as to how much, or to how many, I think is probably the correct way of saying, how many specific trucks we're going to need to deal with all of this stuff. I mean, for example, this fuel station in Petrograd is going to need, you know, almost constant deliveries of fuel. Maybe that needs its own distribution office, is basically what I'm trying to suggest. Do we need more than just 2 distribution offices? Do we need more than 1 singular distribution office for the entirety of Petrograd? Could happen. Could happen. Might very well be the case. Yep, rail storage as well. That's kind of what I envision. Is that it in terms of Petrograd? I think that might actually be... That might be it. Now we need to do forklifts. Forklifts are a little bit more inconvenient because most of them, I haven't really accounted for the fact that they will ever need to be connected up to any fuel network of any nature. However, the great thing about forklifts is that they consume basically 0 fuel, to be brutally honest. Basically 0 fuel. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of a pain in the backside. Again, because I didn't really anticipate this being... a point. Right, I think what we need to do... I mean, I know what we need to do. Actually, we straight up can just delete... Yeah, we can straight up just delete this forklift garage here. Yeah. Yeah, we absolutely can. We don't even need the connection. Okay. Very, very strange. If I delete that garage, am I going to be able to fit in a road up through here? Certainly looks like it. Maybe a little bit of pathway reorganization, but that would connect up those 2. That would connect up you. Yeah, I don't even think we're going to have any issues. So yeah, you supply to the open storage over there. You supply to the steel mill. And you supply to there, over there. You supply, whoops. Where do you supply? You supply from there to there. Okay, so we do actually need to get 1 additional forklift garage. Fine. Right. Give me forklift garage. That's right. That is the technical way of saying it. If anyone was interested. Right. Can we get a connection? That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Brilliant. Sign me up to that one, please. So that gives us exactly what we need. And so now I just need to replace the connection between... Oh, actually, this is where things get a little bit more confusing here. Because there is no connection between this part of the network and then this part of the network. So what is the best way of going about doing this? That's a great question. That is a great, great question. Tell you what, I think I've got it. I think I've got it. Right. Delete that. Delete that. Have I got it? I have got it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Video game, you read my mind. You read my flippin' mind. There we go, just like that. Okay, yeah, that I think should work totally perfectly. So that still allows you to work. That still allows you to work. That still allows you to work. You still work. And then you are going to get the same marching orders as you. So you are going to do between there and between there. Brilliant. That's it. That's it. Then we delete this one. Can't demolish because we've got some vehicles in here. I should have just moved the vehicles across. I don't know why I didn't. Could have saved myself like 2,000 rubles. How have I got so much money? How do I actually have so much money right now? It is a genuine question that is boggling my mind at this present moment. Okay, so, yep. Get that in there. Connect that up for good measure. Why the heck not? We've already got a bunch of connections, but that's fine. Okay, cool. And so just like that, I think we've connected up our entire forklift network, at least over here. That's the main thing. Okay, so looking good. And then we need to add you. You cannot assign more buildings. Okay, there we go. So we've actually arrived at the max number of buildings, which is, again, very surprising. Did not anticipate hitting that cap. I'm okay with it though, because this is exactly why I built more than one singular distribution station. Is there any other building that needs fuel? Any other building that needs fuel, just whilst I'm having a little look around. How are we doing? Television station. Not bad. Not bad at all. Any other building that needs fuel? Yes. This one right here, actually. Actually, no. That's a lie. That's a total lie. We don't even need this building at all. That is a total lie. It's not needed. Okay. So then we will... Okay, exit out of that one, and we will bump this up to 90% as well. We will attach that to there as load fuel, and then I would like to deliver to the other three. The other three forklift garages that don't already have a connection to a distribution network. That's grand. And then I think we can think about going further afield, see if we can place down some fuel for Kolgradsky and Grainsky. So over here, for example, that's good. Where else? Fuel station over here. There is a, train station over there. Is that actually it? Is that actually it? There's one more. Yeah, there's one more up here, isn't there? That's a long trek. That is a long trek from Bridgegrad down to Kolgradsky. The hills of Kolgradsky, nonetheless. Yeah, this is... Right, empty the whole storage of quarried stone. I mean, look, we got a ton of quarried stone. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Tell you what, empty the whole storage of gravel as well. There you go. Why the heck not, eh? See if that allows any trucks to pass, and therefore make some slightly faster progress on all of this building. Because that's what I'm after. Alright, brilliant. But nothing else? I don't think there's anything else. I mean, surprisingly little fuel infrastructure down in Kolgradsky. I mean, yeah, we're able to get by on just like two gas stations. I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. Very, very happy about it. I will take that. I will take that to the bank. Very, very good. The bank is going to be happy. Oh, wait, I am the bank. I am very happy. What I will say is that we do need more trucks. We do definitely need more trucks. And we've got 3 of the finest trucks, 3 of the finest homemade trucks at that, ready to get over to the distribution center, distribution station, whatever. Distribution office, that is the technical term, not distribution center or distribution station. Alrighty, brilliant. I like it a lot. Okay, we are drawing down significantly on our fuel reserves, but that's fine. That's totally fine. Now, as I've already highlighted, there are a bunch of stations that currently already actually have, for example, this diesel station right here, it already has, 2 trucks waiting outside it, ready to, ready to distribute fuel into the diesel station as and when is required. I don't really have an issue with that. I don't think it's going to make a tremendous difference either way if we've got, trucks waiting. Maybe if I spot them from time to time, I will just, sell off the trucks or move them to a distribution office or move them to whatever it is, a road vehicles depot. So yeah, I'll do that with these 2 guys. But at the end of the day, the whole mission of these trucks and the whole mission of the distribution offices is to ensure that we keep on top of our fuel situation. And if those trucks are waiting outside the diesel station ready to fill it up, I'm fine with that. I mean, their mission is the same as my mission to make sure that we don't run out of fuel. So there you go. Same with you. You as well are destined for the depot. Destined for the depot. The stunning sequel. The one concern that I do have is that Bridgegrad is so far away from Potatograd that, and this station and this filling station is so in use that by the time that it hits 90%, right? So by the time that this gas station decreases in fuel to whatever it is, 90%, that's going to be, what is 90% of, oh, there you are, actually. You just arrived. Yeah, what is 90% of 70? I don't know. It's like 63%, right? Or so 63 tons. So whenever this hits 63 tons, it will then, like, activate a call to the distribution center over here. Distribution office. Not distribution center. I keep saying that. It'll activate a call, and then the truck will obviously dispatch. However, on a really, really busy day, I don't think it's inconceivable that we could actually see almost all of this fuel disappear. All the fuel disappear, and we could be left high and dry, actually still buying fuel. But maybe that won't happen. Maybe it will. Now, there are 2 other things that I wish to do. First of all, one of the things that I wish to do is, in the first instance, hold up, I want to come back to Bridgegrad. I want to have a little look at all of the vehicles that are currently transporting fuel between Bridgegrad and the refinery, and I want to get all of these moved into a distribution center. So first of all, we don't need any trucks to move any oil anymore. Like, that's just straight up not what we need. We just don't need them. But on the other hand, okay, here we go. So here we go. Head into this building. Okay, yeah. Right. Into the depot. Into the depot. Into the depot. This is literally why I built all of these depots like 20 years ago. There we go. Yeah, so what I want is I would very, very, very much like the transportation between the refinery and between Bridgegrad to be done on a depot basis, i.e. so we don't have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trucks that are just faffing around, with deliveries and whatnot. I would kind of like a similar call to be made by the Bridgegrad tank, i.e. it says, oh, hey guys, we're under 90%. We're under 90% fuel. Can you send a truck out from the distribution office to go and collect some fuel from the oil refinery? And that would be real good, thanks. So that's what I think we're going to do. Now, I think that that's most of the trucks. I don't think it's all of the trucks. Yeah, it's not all the trucks. Not all the oil trucks. There we go. You are going to go here. And you can go there. I mean, the amount of... Excuse me? Why am I just moving these trucks around? Okay, I'm going to sell you. I'm going to sell you as well. There we go. Alright, don't know why the trucks are just deciding to move between depots here. Either way, the point that I'm trying to make is that that's the vast majority of trucks. It's the vast majority of trucks that were transporting oil. Now that sort of kind of solves a similar problem. Kind of solves a similar problem. Okay, so these are the trucks that are coming back from the train diesel station. So basically, right, there are the 2 tanks in Bridgegrad. All of these trucks basically no longer are required. Basically. Okay, let's not worry about that too much at this moment in time. Also, look at this. Look at this. Making progress. Oh my goodness. Oh my giddy ant. We are 12 work days away from finishing this first section of rail bridge. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we actually were able to get a rail connection between both different sides of the map? Ignore the fact that there is another same section of incredibly difficult to lay, inaccessible track that's going to cost me 835 tons of steel and would cost me 1,000,000 rubles to buy. I'm actually able to afford that, but, you know, that's not the point. The point is that I want to build it. Imagine if we were actually able to get a rail connection. I feel like Mini Constructo has changed so much since I actually zoned this rail connection that it might not even be wanted nor required. Either way, as I was saying, we've got the problem with, you know, fuel distribution and whatnot, which is going to be reasonably easy to solve. All I'm going to do is I'm going to place down another distribution office near Refinovsky. Tell you what, I'm all about distribution offices today. I love it because they're so great. I mean, tell me that they are not the greatest thing in this game, with perhaps the sole exception of nuclear power. They are so brilliant. Right. Let's just stick with one. We'll stick with one singular distribution office. Now, I could use my own finest locally produced trucks from Potatograd. How many trucks do I have? I have 3 trucks. I mean, that's distinctly lame. I actually want these 3 trucks to be moved across to this distribution office as swiftly as possible. There we go. Man, I tell you what, I am keeping costs way down. 100% locally produced cars, 100% locally produced fuel, distributed to every single fuel requesting building in the entirety of the map, bar a couple, mind you. In fact, I'll tell you what, I will actually get a secondary medium distribution office over here for fuel transport. I'll talk about it in just a second. So, right, Kobe medium distribution office number 3. I'm just about to buy a whole bunch of oil tanks, the KMZ 510s. Yep, buy all of these. Again, this figure is going to be bumped up to 90%, which is fine. Bump that up to 90%, and I'm going to assign a source tank for you. That source tank is going to be this tank, I believe. Yeah, it's got to be this tank. Got to be this tank. It's got to be fuel. You've got to load there, and then you've got to unload over here. That's literally it. That's literally it. That's literally it. That's all that I want you to do. Whenever that tank drops below 90%, just do what you do. It's totally fine. You know, that's not a problem. Also, maybe I should import some oil on a temporary basis. I feel like actually maybe that's not a bad idea. Right, I'm gonna do what I haven't done in ages. It's gonna be pretty horrifically expensive, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm going to start auto-purchasing oil in 2 of the oil tanks so that we can maintain a certain level of production. The reason that I'm purchasing it in the oil tanks rather than in the refinery directly is because oil is just as important for chemical production as it is for oil refining purposes. And it's very, very, very important for oil refining purposes now, because we have got a significant number of people that are able to refine oil into fuel, and we're able to sell that fuel, obviously. I'm not super hot on selling it, actually, at the moment, because I kind of need it locally. But yeah, we'll deal with that perhaps another time. The point that I'm trying to make is that our fuel now needs to be moved across the map fairly regularly, actually, to distribution office, not to the distribution office, to the tank, and that is going to be done by Kobe Medium Distribution Office 3. So very, very happy with that. You are indeed going to Bridgegrad fuel storage, fantastic, and another vehicle is just dispatched. As soon as there is any sign of fuel, I think it's going to be done. What I also want to get set up over here is a very different but kind of similar setup. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of vehicles. I'm going to set it to 90% yet again. I'm going to set that as the source to fill up from. And then all of the different petrol stations, gas stations, whatever you want to call them, they're all going to be set up to run from this specific distribution office right over here. So that's the plan. Will it work? Will it, won't it? I guess we'll wait and see. Any other fuel source over here that I need? Oh, actually, yes, there is. There is a fuel source in this thing here. This is the modded forklift garage. The forklift garage that holds 8 forklifts. And that is also going to get a connection because it needs fuel as well. The harbors will need fuel, or the docks will need fuel when they are ready. But for now, that's not required. Right, and then if we come over to Mini Constructo, you need fuel. Is that it over here? I think that's actually it over here. Yeah, I think that's straight up it. I think that's straight up it. Okay, so this distribution office, Kobe Medium Distribution Office, has got a much more relaxed job, I would say, than Kobe Distribution Office 3. Kobe Distribution Office 3 is a very, very key building because it supplies fuel to the oil tank that supplies fuel to the entirety of Potatograd and beyond. Kobe Medium Distribution Office 4, it doesn't really do that. Just supplies to the local gas stations. It makes sense to have a local distribution office over here rather than placing down a third distribution office in Bridgegrad and then driving the fuel back across the bridge. Yeah, we'll just drag it straight from the source. What is this? 21-story prefab flat in Potatograd. That's totally fine. Look at this. Look at this. Potatograd Party HQ. Oh my goodness, it's looking great. It's looking great. It's looking so good. And that is, I mean, that's us with 3 universities. 3 flipping universities in Potatograd. Each one pretty much at max capacity, actually. Pretty much the max number of students. Not far off. Certainly not far off. I mean, can you imagine how big does this city need to be in order to, well, 16,000, there you go. A population of 16,000 in order to support 3 universities, basically all working at full capacity. Also, we have now smashed through the barrier of having more university educated people than basically educated people and people with no education. So, I mean, that's tremendous. The vast majority of people with no education are babies 0 to 6 years old. So that's, 2,900 of the 4,300 people that don't have any education at the moment. The other people without education at the moment, I suspect, are children who have yet to reach a basic education level, and the vast majority of the people with basic education will basically be children. So if you were to add up the difference between babies of 0 to 6 and the people with no education, I mean, that's what, like 1,500. It's about 1,500. Okay, so it's about 1,500 of people with no education that are not babies, right? And then similarly, it's about 1,500, maybe about 1,700 of maybe a bit more than that, maybe between about 2,000 of people, of children that don't have a basic education. So basically what I'm trying to say is that it's kids and it's babies that are occupying both the no education and the basic education level. The vast majority of the working age population has a university degree. That's literally what I'm trying to say. I gotta be honest, I'm really happy with that. I mean, that's a tremendous milestone. I never thought that I would be in this position where I'm actually doing shockingly well. Shockingly well. Everything is looking good. The tunnels are continuing to be built. Even they have a large number of employees, actually. Yeah, we got 107 people working at the rail construction office. Can you flip and believe that? 140 now. Unbelievable. How many people at the steel mill? 210? Leaves a little to be desired, to be honest. Little to be desired. 137, about 200. About 200 people at the vehicle production line. Still managing to churn out some brilliant, brand new, homemade cistern tanks. In fact, I'm going to allocate these tanks to the office, and I think, yep, that is going to be the depot completely full. So that means that we produced at least 24. In fact, I think it was actually 25. 25 cistern trucks over the course of this episode, in addition to the already constructed, or the already in the process of constructing dumper trucks. I think there was 4 dumper trucks as well, and the 4 dumper trucks are now actively engaged in this medium distribution office, which is tremendously exciting as well. We're now moving pretty much every resource that matters. We're moving mostly or in part with the distribution office, and that is really important. That is really, really good. I mean, I'm very, very chuffed with that. Chemical production is going great. Oil production is going great since I bumped up the import of oil, so that's going pretty darn well. Yeah, my only qualm is maybe I need to get another distribution office to help with the fuel delivery to Bridgegrad. I think I might actually do that right now. Yeah. The reason that we need to do it is that it's such an important route. What the heck am I doing? I can do this all locally. The reason that it's such an important route is that it supplies Potatograd. I've already talked about it. You already know my feelings. It needs to be done. But I don't think I'm missing any gas stations. I don't think there's a single gas station that I've perhaps missed. If you think I've missed a gas station or a fuel or a forklift station anywhere, just let me know. Just let me know. I'd be interested to see if you think if I've missed anything. Also, we need to get some more trucks over here. There we go. Because it turns out that we're actually producing so many crops that we need to get them out of the greenhouse as swiftly as we possibly can. Brilliant. Alright, buy some oil tanks. There we go. Pop that up to 90%. Boom, boom, boom. Load. Unload over here. How are we doing? There we go. Fantastic. I imagine that we see an immediate mobilization of all of these trucks, and that's kind of what I intended to happen. Maybe, at some point, we even will need to get another distribution hub. I mean, it's going to take a while for the amount of fuel to equalize and, you know, sort itself out. Only got 240 tons of fuel remaining in Bridgegrad. Not ideal, but it looks like, for the most part, it looks like the two distribution offices over here that are dealing directly with the distribution of fuel to every single fuel station seems to be working. I mean, can I have a little look at my import of fuel? Import of resources. Fuel is at 3,000. Fuel is at 3,900 rubles. I mean, where the heck are we actually importing this fuel? That's the real question that remains, right? I mean, I suspect, actually, that the vast majority of that fuel, it's still a little tiny bit incoming. The vast majority of that fuel is probably coming from places that just have yet to receive a delivery of fuel, so I imagine that they're probably coming from Kobe. That's where I suspect that they're coming from, unless, of course, I've missed any... Not missed that one. Not missed that one. Not missed that one. I don't think there's any other... There's any other place that the fuel could be picked up. Either way, down from like 30,000 in the last episode, down to about 4,000 a month. It's still pretty darn good. That's still pretty darn good. Can I have a little look at this year? In fact, yeah, show me this year. Look at that, trending way downwards. Yeah, consistently tiny amounts. Last year we hit 8,000 over the course of, what is this? That's not days, months. I don't actually know the little divisions. But yeah, so this year This is a tremendous improvement. This is a really, really good improvement. But it still is of interest to me. Like, where the heck is the rest of this fuel import coming from? I don't think I've missed anything. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I do not flippin' know. Well, you know what? Whatever the case, I'm still remarkably chuffed with how this is looking. I'm chuffed about how this is working. I'm very, very happy with this whole process. Yep, we're still shipping fuel across the map, and that is going to be, you know, an evolving process. It's going to take a little while. What the heck? We don't have power over here? We are, I suspect, probably maxed out on power. Building is without a power supply. Building is without a power supply. Building is without a power supply. Is there a power supply issue in Potatograd? What's the issue? What's the issue? What's the issue here? Why is there a problem? It doesn't look like there's any issue in Potatograd. Okay. I mean, this is a nice little bonus bit of detectiving. Are there any issues over here now? There are actually issues. Okay, so turns out... Well, initially I thought, hey, am I maybe drawing too much wattage through this medium voltage switch? But that doesn't necessarily look like that's the case. Oh, here's a problem. I've just spotted the problem. So it turns out that we've got this nice high-capacity medium voltage wire all the way back up to this medium voltage switch here. However, some total dingus, decided to use the absolute cheapest wire possible for this connection. That's simply not good at all. That's simply not good. Okay, what I can do is I can just disconnect that over there. And now that we've got the transformer over here, we can very, very easily just bring this over here and round there. Okay, and that should rectify this issue. There we go. Immediately powered up. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, this power transformer I don't think is anywhere close. No, it's not. It's not anywhere close to drawing. Yeah, no, even the high voltage switch. Yeah, we're nowhere close to drawing down on all of our power. All right, man, that was a confusing one. That was a real confusing one, but I'm delighted that we ended up getting it sorted. To be honest, we're not even drawing that much mega wattage at the oil refinery, so we should never really theoretically have power issues over here. Not seriously. Maybe at like some point in the future if it gets, you know, if maybe there's a second oil refinery introduced at some point, but not seriously. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's been an absolute pleasure to play Workers and Resources Soviet Republic for you today. As ever, if you're interested in helping make videos like this directly possible, then, you know, check out the Patreon over at patreon.com/robotopotato. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you then. Bye.